If there's one race in progressive American flat track that you want to win, it's this, the legendary Springfield Mile. We'll load them up, roll them out, and race next.
I'm the best dude here as far as ability-wise.
I really just need to go out there and do one thing, and that's to win.
We worked so hard this year. The team worked so hard.
Let the race begin.
We're underway. The carrot is there. Can he go after it?
It doesn't take much for a guy to go down.
Wow, that was close. That was the pressure point.
Looking fantastic.
Wow, I did not expect this.
If he ruffles some feathers along the way, so be it.
Can't say these guys aren't tough. They take the win. Unbelievable run. You don't often see domination like this.
How impressive is that?
What a performance.
We haven't been disappointed.
The Memphis Shade Springfield Mile, second leg of a doubleheader weekend, presented by Law Tigers, as Progressive American Flat Track not only hosts its biggest race of the year, but a tightening championship chase. Jared Mees won last night to take some points away from Briar Bauman, your series leader, who is very close in second, and little heat between the two as well. This will be Brian Smith, the Mile Master's final start here at Springfield. He will retire at the end of this year. Jason Wygant and former AMA Grand National champ Brad Baker to give it the call. Kristen Beat will be reporting from the racetrack. Jared Mees got that win yesterday, 20 points behind Briar Bauman. Title is still alive for Jared.
Yeah, that's exactly what Jared needed to do. He picked 5 points out on Briar Bauman, but Briar being in second, that's not what he wanted. He's going to have to pick up more points than that if he wants to get this championship.
Oh, but on a mile, you can get shuffled back so quickly. A lot on the line, and Bauman was not happy with some of Mees' tactics last night.
At Springfield Mile 1, the top three riders, Jared Mees, Briar Bauman, and Brandon Robinson, all racing within inches of each other. Now, at top speeds, that requires an incredible amount of trust and confidence in the rider lined up next to you. However, on the podium after that main event, Briar Bauman expressed discontent with how Jared was racing him. You could tell he was worried and uneasy about how close Jared was getting to him on track. So I caught up with both riders, Briar Bauman and Jared Mees, to follow up on that.
Well, it's mile racing for one. I mean, we're drafting back and forth down the straightaways, and, to get the absolute best draft out of somebody is you pretty much ride up as close as you can on the back of the wheel. And when you come by, you don't slingshot 3 feet past them. You kind of go as tight as you can past them, and it's just the name of the game when it comes to drafting. There was a moment going into turn 3 that we split Briar, where Brandon went to the inside and I went to the outside. And at that very moment when Brandon went up the inside, it kind of moved Briar up because Brandon was coming to the inside of him and I was coming around him. And I do remember grazing his elbow with my elbow as we were approaching into turn 3. I went back. I heard his complaints on the podium, and I went back and I watched it last night. And they pretty much focused on us all 25 laps, and I didn't see anything out of the ordinary at all. I heard that he was a little upset with my move off turn 4 going for the checkered, but you're allowed one move, and the famous move is to either come out and go high or come out high and go low, and I came out high and went low.
I'm really just focused on today. I had one of my better Springfield miles yesterday. I've taken second here before, but I've never felt like I was kind of in control a little bit. Obviously, I didn't lead a whole lot of laps, but I never felt like I was just hanging on. I always felt like I belonged where I was at and even had room to improve. So there's a few things I need to clean up. I kind of messed up my last lap off turn 4 a little bit, and that's just kind of part of learning Springfield. I still have only a few laps compared to Jared around here and a couple of the other guys, so just trying to figure it out. They're so good at just knowing where they need to be and how they need to time it, and I'm just trying to learn, but I'm also trying to win. So that's the goal for today, is take what I learned yesterday, hopefully put it into play today, and maybe win.
Now, yesterday, Briar said those were dumb moves from Mees. What do you think about it?
I think this racing gets super close on these tracks. These guys don't have rear view mirrors, so when somebody goes to make a pass, you might be making a move at the same time, and things just happen. So I don't really think it was a dumb move on Jared. Briar seems to be cooled down about it today and just trying to learn from what he did yesterday. He wants to win today.
Okay, so we'll start today off with highlights from our semis. Got the 69 of Sammy Halbert. Jared Vanderkoy, who was very quick yesterday, the number 20, then he ran into mechanical problems. He's back. And Jeffrey Carver, who's always fast at Springfield, but he had transmission problems yesterday. He's in the hunt as well. And that finish, also Brandon Price to the 92 there, shows you how close the racing is on this racetrack, as it was bang, 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 bang between the top 4 through the checkered flag. We go to Semi 2, and we get our first hint at it. Bauman and Mees, also Brandon Robinson.
Yeah, the top three from yesterday going out in the semifinal. I mean, this might be a preview of what's to happen in the main event. Look at this good run that Breyer gets up the inside. Not going to be in the draft coming off the line, though. This is going to be a dogfight.
Oh, and he almost got squeezed, and Mees holds on again. Let's watch it again. It's so spectacular, this track.
Yeah, you see Jared, he does what he said yesterday. He goes from the top to the bottom, kind of squeaks off the front of each and one of them. I mean, it's not a bad move, though, because you're allowed that one move, and it messes up the riders behind you, and that's part of the strategy.
And no one knows the strategy here better than Mees. This is the Mission Foods Challenge. We'll do a 4-lap sprint race for 5,000 extra bucks. Should be fun to watch. And these 4 riders were the top 2 in our 2 semis. Good jump from Vanderkoy in the 20. You have Mees, Halbert, and Robinson here as well.
Looks like Robinson gets off the line this time. No clutch problems. The same 4 riders from the Mission Challenge yesterday. Let's see who takes it this time.
Yeah, that's right. Robinson was not able to complete all the laps in yesterday's Mission Challenge. He is there right now. Mees with the lead over Vanderkoy.
Yeah, Jared already in control up front, but Sammy Halbert, he's one of the most aggressive riders in the paddock. You know that he's going to go for it. He wants that money.
Oh, he's right there on the inside. Halbert challenging for second with Vanderkoy. Mees locking it down up front.
And Vanderkoy learning every lap that he goes around, he's learning something, and he has one of the best in the business to do it from with Jared Mees right in front of him.
3 wide, maybe even 4 wide as we go out of turns 1 and 2. Robinson's going to be heard from before it's over.
Yeah, the Springfield Mile is just beautifully prepared right now. I mean, these guys 3/4 of the way up the racetrack. Sometimes it's just right down around the guardrail. It's cool to see these guys up the racetrack dicing it up.
And we've got a change for the lead. It's Halbert taking it away.
And you see Halbert like mid-corner has his foot up on the peg sideways. I mean, earlier you can get your foot up on the peg, the more traction you're going to get.
They call that fast feet. You get it back on the peg. Look at Robinson. He keeps working this low line in turn 1, and it's going to pay off.
Yeah, he's able to make up time coming in, but you see these guys that get the run coming off. Jared Mees is already sneaking up the inside.
Side by side. That's Robinson and Halbert.
Yeah, Halbert actually got the run. Look at that triple draft from Jared Mees, goes from 3rd to 1st.
Hey, if it's not Mees making the move at first, you can count on him to make the next one then. It's that control thing that you heard Breyer Bauman talking about. No matter what happens, Mees is able to find his way back to the front.
Yeah, he's just very comfortable and knows exactly where he needs to be. This bike is working really good too. You can tell that it's hooked up better than what he was in his semifinal. They're figuring something out.
All right, last lap. All 4 riders with a shot at the $5,000 bonus and a little bit of confidence and momentum going into the main. Halbert leads.
Yeah, where you want to be. Jared Mees looked like he's going to get the draft around the outside, so Sammy Halbert's going to have to time it perfectly to get the draft at the line.
And there is no one harder to beat out of turn 4 than Jared Mees. He likes to lead going in, and he usually can hold it coming out. Can Halbert figure it out?
He's right in line. He might be able to do it.
Here it is. He pulls out of the draft. No, half a bike length short. Jared Mees knows Springfield better than anybody. Unbelievable.
Yeah, Jared didn't really matter where he went. He was always able to get himself back to the lead. Sammy Halbert, I thought he had it at the line, though. I mean, he had himself lined up perfectly, just came up short.
Let's send it to Kristen.
Jared Mees winning the Mission Challenge here at Springfield Mile. Jared, it looks as though you might be on track to repeat, to go back-to-back here. However, during that semi, there was a moment, tire touching between you and Sammy Halbert. What did that feel like from your perspective?
I didn't even feel nothing with Sammy at all. I thought that was a pretty good race. I feel really good. The bike's actually coming around a little bit better after that semi. We keep making small adjustments to see if we can just get a little bit better in the corners. But so far, I feel really good and got one more to go.
Jared Mees taking the money. He's also going to take over the event. He and his wife, Nicole, are actually going to become the promoters of the Springfield Mile starting next year. Very comfortable here, as is Dallas Daniels, who will pursue a win in Production Twins after this. Progressive American Flat Track is brought to you by Mission Foods, which has you covered with race day recipes that are too fast, too tasty. Progressive insures over 5 million boats, motorcycles, and RVs. Get a quote in under 4 minutes at AmericanFlatTrack.com/progressive. And by Law Tigers, you never have to ride alone. Production Twins class, Corey Texter, a huge points lead. Not the best performance, though, in our race yesterday. He only finished 6th. The rider to watch is Dallas Daniels. He's not competing full-time in this class. He is our singles class champ. 10th in points based on 3 races that he's done in Production Twins. He's won 2 of them, and he looked awfully strong winning yesterday, so he is the rider to beat in this division. And in his semi, no change. Dallas Daniels runs away with it.
Yeah, right back out front, looking super comfortable today as he was yesterday.
Jesse Janis, considered a TT specialist, but he was no slouch here on the mile. He looked good in semi 1. We go to semi 2. Chad Cose in the lead on the 49. Morgan Mishler on the 13 loves the high line.
But look at Tanner Dean, a rider. He's right up in the lead here. He slingshots by. Looks like he's going to be able to get the pass by the line. Man, look at
Dean.
this.
He did it.
Rider that doesn't have that much experience on a twin, able to get the win. But look here, there's times it perfectly pulls out in the draft. Little head shake, but holds on.
That blows my mind. They just keep it held wide open. So those are highlights from qualifying. We're ready for our main event. Janis of the 96, Dean the 38, the 32 of Daniels, the 13 of Mishler. Dallas Daniels, he is the champion of the singles class, but has been almost unbeatable when he decides to jump on a Production Twins Estenson MT-07 Yamaha. See if anyone has an answer for him tonight. There's Dan Bromley, who is essentially second in the series. He's 3rd in points, but out with an injury is our 2nd-ranked rider, Dalton Gauthier. So that's why Mishler on the 13 and Janis picked up the Vance and Hines Harleys. Let's see if they can make a run for the win. Great jump for Janis.
Yeah, great jump for Janis. Look at Dallas Daniels around the outside. Slipped a little bit off the line, but looks like he might have the momentum around the outside here.
What? He just drove by the pack.
Yeah, just that outside line, being able to keep it on the throttle up there. He's had the momentum.
And Mishler in the 13 was down low, coming out of turn 2. Let's see where they all shuffle in the backstretch. Tanner Dean's 3rd, behind Janis.
Yeah, Janis, that's a great start for him. Look at Tanner Dean way up by the air fence, letting it all hang out.
So they're trying to keep pace with Dallas Daniels, who establishes himself as the early leader in Production Twins. 1 lap complete here at Springfield.
Man, that's cool, that flyby. That just shows how fast they're going.
Oh, and Janis almost into the back of Daniels.
And look at Tanner Dean, excellent run up the inside, going to take over 2nd.
Whoa, he almost took over the lead. So Dean, very aggressive and fast, winning his semi, and he's bringing that form to the main event.
Let's see what Tanner Dean can do here. He's riding it more a little bit like a speedway bike. You see him stepped out there.
And also the 13 of Mishler is in the hunt as well. It's a Yamaha onboard with Daniels, with Dean going to attempt the draft here. Here it comes. Not enough.
And not enough there, but he seems to have really good mid-corner speed, keeping it on the throttle.
Whoa, you're not kidding.
Right there, it goes right around the outside.
Wow, rips the lead away from Daniels. Tanner Dean is hooked up and flying.
And a couple bike lengths all in that one corner. That was impressive.
Is that just line choice?
I think that's just not shutting off.
Okay.
I mean, it looks like he's just leaving the thing wide open right now.
Okay, hey, sometimes fortune favors the bold, and Tanner Dean is fearless right now, trying to get away, and Daniels is locked in a battle with Janis.
Yeah, Tanner Dean putting his head down. That outside line, you can just see that he flicks the thing sideways. I don't think he's shutting down right now.
No, but Daniels on that inside line draws him right back to Dean. It is side by side. Dean able to hold it.
We'll see how long this is able to play off for him as the racetrack starts to dry out. That aggressive riding might start to affect him if he gets some wheel spin.
And Daniels just sticking to the low lines all the way around this racetrack. Janis gonna beat him off the corner, and they're gonna have to funnel back into line.
Yeah, you can see taking that tighter line. He spins more coming off the corner, just doesn't have the same momentum as the riders around the outside do.
So do you think that inside might get better, though, as the race goes on, or the outside might go away, so to speak?
Yeah, it definitely could. If the outside starts to get dried out, and that inside could very well come into play. It's a shorter way around the racetrack.
But Daniels cannot shake the pressure from Janis. If he wants to focus on the leader, Dean, he can't. He's got to think about 2nd and 3rd. Here they come.
And you can see the rubber getting laid down up top. You know, man, that could also come into a factor there. If it starts to be a bunch of rubber getting laid down, that gets hooked up. But at the same time, you got to start being easy on the tire. If you ride too hard, you get your tire too hot and it'll start to go away, so you got to be careful there too.
Morgan Mishler walking the tightrope at the inside of turns 1 and 2, barely able to get traction. He got the second for a moment. The 13 has drifted back to 4th. Now you also have Chad Cose joining the group at the back of this freight train.
You can see Tanner Dean's elbow down. I really don't think he's letting off. If he is, he's just doing it a little bit.
And Daniels just keeps sticking to the inside.
Well, he's not trying to play follow the leader right now, but their lines come together. You can see him and Janis.
Every time. Trying to merge into traffic when they come off the wall of turn 4. Look, Daniels is getting closer and closer to the leader.
Yeah, it's starting to reel him in. I can see Tanner Dean starting to get a little bit more sideways in the middle of the corner.
So Daniels and Janis keep battling, and Daniels has got an opening. Wants the number 1 spot. He was patient back there in second, but things are starting to heat up. The battle for the win at Springfield is on. Dallas Daniels on the Estenson Yamaha has taken over the lead this Memphis Shade Springfield Mile number 2. Tanner Dean was so strong early, but he has drifted back.
Yeah, he must have made a big mistake in the center of the corner, the way he was getting super sideways. The track is starting to dry out a little bit now if you're seeing the rubber getting laid down.
Jesse Janis has been in a battle with Daniels the entire way. It was for 2nd and 3rd at one point. Now it's for the lead. Chad Cose on the 49, the Vance and Hines Harley right there with them.
I'm really impressed with Jesse Janis being right here with him. I mean, he's never been known to be a mile specialist.
Here's what happened to Dean, your leader, earlier.
Yeah, just riding a little too sideways, got up on the edge of that groove where a little bit of marbles and got sideways, lost all of his run coming off of turn 2.
Unbelievable. So he led about half of this main event and then quickly shuffled out of the top 5 with one mistake. Janis wants the lead.
Yeah, Janis keeping his wheels in line a little bit more, going through 3 and 4, a little bit lower line. But Daniels continues to have the momentum to run off the corner.
And Chad Cose, who is consistently a podium guy in this class, but hasn't won nearly as many of those races as I'm sure he would like, does have a victory at our season opener. But he would love to win at Springfield, and that 49 keeps poking his nose in this battle up front.
Yeah, he had some bad finishes there in the middle of the season. Just let Corey Texter get away from him, but he's usually on the podium if he doesn't have, a nemesis at another race.
And we have not heard much from Corey Texter, your series leader, throughout the weekend at Springfield, but he's into the top 5 now, the best we've seen him run so far. There he is 4th now on the G&G Yamaha. Laps keep clicking off.
This is looking more like a Corey Texter racetrack right now. Usually when you got to keep your wheels in line and use a lot of finesse to get the bike around the track, that's when Corey Texter starts to go fast, and you can see him start to inch up on these guys right now.
Okay, so the battle, is it between Daniels and Janis, or is Daniels pulling away just enough? The draft here will tell you the story. Janis able to close in a little bit. He's right there.
Yeah, you see Dallas getting sideways, kind of running up on the edge of the groove and getting sideways more, whereas Jesse's doing a really good job keeping his wheels in line.
Oh, we can check this out again.
I think this is Mishler in the back. You can see him getting up there. Yeah, that's how Mishler. Kind of the same thing as what Tanner Dean did, just getting up off the groove.
Really fun, this class lineup. You have Daniels and Mishler, for example. They are normally singles class riders. Janis is a fill-in for the injured Gautier, and they are adding a lot of depth and talent, making this really fun to watch with a lap and a half to go.
Daniels now got a couple bike length lead. Janis is going to have to really get aggressive here. Look at that. That corner that line that he has going in the 3 really makes up a lot of time.
So Daniels is looking to win both here at Springfield. White flag coming out. This would be 3 wins in his first 4 starts on a Production Twins machine.
These guys are super close. I think Janis's best bet is trying to get a draft pass going into turn 3 and try to lead to the stripe coming off of 4.
Well, here is his opportunity. Cose and Texter, you said it's his type of track. He has clawed himself back into contention. Janis couldn't get it done. No, maybe he will. He dives deep into turn 3.
He's on the inside. Wow, he takes over the lead. Daniels now is going to have to line up this draft pass.
This could be a race to the line. Janis waited the entire time. He takes the lead from Daniels. Checkered flag in sight. Daniels with a draft at the stripe.
Wow, that was timed just perfectly by Daniels to be able to get the win.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
There's Brandon Bergen, one of the main mechanics on the Essen team. Man, those guys have to be stoked.
Dallas Daniels has won both races here, and he did it by, I believe, 0.03 seconds. That's what Springfield's all about, the draft battle to the stripe.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, that was cool by Dallas Daniels yesterday. He was able to just, lead with, dominance. Here, he had to time it perfectly, get by just inches at the line, as you can see.
Look at this. He takes the lead, I'd say, right there.
Yep, half a bike length or so.
Oh, Janis. He did everything right. He waited, he got the lead. Nice retaliation from Dallas Daniels right here.
Yeah, that was textbook by him. I mean, it just shows his experience as a young rider.
Undefeated in Springfield, 4 wins in 4 starts for the 18-year-old hometown boy, Dallas Daniels. And a moment ago, your team brought you over this to celebrate sweeping the weekend. Dallas, you were playing around with different lines in that main event. You were teaching yourself how to run off the draft, and I saw you drop down low and then move up high again. What did you like about that bottom line?
Well, before the main event, the team told me to kind of move around a little bit. I knew it was going to be a close race. The track got slick, and it was sort of multiple line racing, and you kind of wanted to stay up off the groove. But so I was just kind of trying stuff. When Dean rolled around the outside of me, I kind of got caught up with these guys, and he pulled away for a second. I kind of got nervous, so I started trying some stuff. And once we reeled him back in, I thought might as well go try the top, and it seemed like it was a little bit better. So I just stuck with it up there, and it's awesome. Like, we just swept the weekend, like we said, and it was kind of a rough night at the short track, and we turned it around and kind of turned the whole season around, it seems like. So just, I meant to say it yesterday, but one of our mechanics on the team, Shane, he's a great friend of ours. His dog passed away a few days ago, so I want to honor this weekend to his dog.
He's holding the broom there as he swept both main events in production twins and both main events in singles on Friday night. 4 wins throughout the weekend for Daniels. Janis, Cose, Texter able to salvage something out of the weekend, but fourth, there is your entire lineup. Go back to Kristen.
So earlier in the day, I was talking to Terry Vance, and I said, a few of the riders you've brought on under your tent this weekend have surprised me. He said Jesse Janis will surprise you today. How does it feel to know that Terry Vance has that kind of faith in you?
Oh, it's awesome. Man, when I got the call, I was so ecstatic. I was actually on a bicycle ride. My tires went flat. Terry calls. Red's picking me up. And he goes, "Hey, is this the call you want to hear?" I said, "Absolutely." Man, Springfield Mile, second. It was an awesome race. Dallas rode awesome. Tanner had a little bit of a gap, and I decided to just get behind Dallas and let him reel us in. And we got to the front, and then, honestly, I just sat on Dallas. I had a plan, and I was about 2 feet away from having a good one. 2 more miles next week. Let's see if we can maybe get back up here and put in some good results. And, yeah, we'll go from there.
Good to have Jesse Janis back in the series. He's a part-timer now. Points, it's a wash. Bromley is able to take second away from the idol with injury. Gautier, Cose is third, but Texter with that fourth. Holding serve, 10 in with a big points lead. Still has a big points lead. One more trip to the podium here with Kristen.
Chad Cose with back-to-back podiums this week, and how impactful are these back-to-back performances for your season?
Oh, it's great for me. Like I said all weekend, I really got to give it up to the Vance and Hines team. They've seen me kind of struggling all year by myself and took me under their wing, and let me tell you, it's a huge help. And 2 podiums is good. We're not really happy with third, but we definitely made an improvement in that main event with bike setup. Everybody that's in my corner, everybody back in Florida, everybody back home, love you guys, and we're going to go get a win in California.
We'll see you in Sacramento, Chad.
Dallas Daniels, 4 wins over the course of a weekend on 2 different motorcycles at Springfield. That is why he is the hottest young property in Progressive American Flat Track. Progressive American Flat Track is brought to you by Cat Rental Store, the official heavy equipment supplier of American Flat Track. Progressive insures over 5 million boats, motorcycles, and RVs. Get a quote in under 4 minutes at AmericanFlatTrack.com/progressive. And by Memphis Shades, the official windshield of Progressive American Flat Track. Back to the Springfield Mile, one of the legendary events of American Flat Track, and one of the legendary brands. Indian Motorcycle returned to this series 5 years ago and is now deeply ingrained.
Flat Track is so unique in the sense that it's like a big family. The show travels throughout the country, and Indian is such a part of the family.
Indian Motorcycle as a company, they're really just great people that show their support for the riders, for the sport in general. They care.
The support that Indian Motorcycles has given our organization has been amazing. Since the inception of them coming back into the sport, Indian Motorcycles has been an integral part of the Rookies of 79's fundraising. In fact, we currently have our third motorcycle that we're raffling to raise money. That's what motorcycling is all about. Not only flat tracking, but motorcycling in general. And Indian is certainly falls right into that with the kindness and generosity towards the people in need.
The charity has been there for me through all my injuries, especially this last one. And it's just a great group of people that want to help all the racers and their families. And when it comes to support, they have Dean Young. Dean's an awesome dude. He comes to all the races, and he's here to help, the factory side of the team, but he's also bouncing around to all the paddocks, helping them with their electronics and any little issue and stuff. He's there for every race for them.
We've put probably close to $1 million in the sport with contingency and payments to riders, including privateers. So I think that says a lot about what Indian offers to the brand and to American Flat Track and to all the riders in it.
When it comes to support, really, nobody's there for the paddock more than Indian Motorcycle. Them staying behind me and giving me, a purpose still after my injury just shows what type of people they are.
All right, good stuff, Brad. Okay, time for Dunlop Tire Talk.
Today, the teams have two options. They got the R7, the R9. The R9 is a little bit harder compound. Today, the track looks like it's taking a lot more rubber. That means it's more abrasive. Sometimes these guys can get all the way down to the cords, so they might take the R9 just so they have the longevity to get to the end.
So even more strategy to throw in with a big, fast track with a lot of draft passing and some championship heat between Jared Mees, Briar Bauman, and a bunch of spoilers like Sammy Halbert showing the speed to get in the fight as well. Always great for Progressive American Flat Track to come to Springfield. Even better now that we get some of our crowd favorites, such as Jeffrey Carver, who's a local native, back in the series to try to win this one. Here's Kristen.
Jeffrey Carver here at the Springfield Mile, making his second start of the 2021 season. Jeffrey, with limited starts this year, do you put any pressure on yourself to maybe make something happen here in your final start? And what's next for you following this race?
I don't really think there's any pressure. More along the line, like with yesterday not getting a ride, the main event's just that's just like my playground. So it stinks not to get, to be able to be in that and be able to be a part of that vortex that goes on out there. It's just, like you said, it's one and done for here at Springfield. So we just kind of get out there and do our thing. So it's great to have this team behind us with, Dan Calkins putting up some money and Brian Bigelow and the whole crew. There's been guys running around here, and Mike Turner bringing on his boys as well. So it's everything that I wanted. So realistically, we're just excited to get out here and have some fun.
Here's your lineup for the main event. Carver was 7th on the grid. Halbert and Mees, they are the top two. But on this racetrack, you're going to see a big pack and lots of passing, at least we hope. Brian Smith will be his last run here at Springfield for the Mile Master. Starting 14th, had some problems yesterday as well. But this is going to be awesome, Brad. This is what it's all about.
Yeah, it really is. We might be able to throw a blanket over the top 7. It's going to be exciting.
So let's get fired up. One last race for 2021 at Springfield. Robinson on the inside, up through the gears, and Mees going to lead them in to turn 1.
Yeah, another great hole shot by Jared. These guys are going to have to get right in behind him. Look at Briar all the way down at the bottom.
Carver in there as well.
And he made up quite a bit of time down there, but you don't quite get the run down the back straightaway.
So Mees leads Halbert. Robinson, 43, the Harley-Davidson. James Rispoli in the fight also.
Yeah, you see Briar back there shuffled in behind him. That's the last thing he wants to do is start fighting with these guys and let the guys in front of him get away.
Jared Mees in control, no surprise. Green flag flying, he leads the first lap here at Springfield.
Jared Mees looking strong so far. That bike in line, it's definitely a lot different than the last time these guys were out here. If they get off the groove there, it's actually slick, so they got to stay on the groove. That's where the most grip is.
Halbert, Robinson, the rest of the field shuffling. Second, third, fourth, while they keep Mees in sight. Oh, he almost had a pass for the lead.
Yeah, he was right there. This is early in the race, you know. You just kind of got to get yourself in line, in position, and, you know, be there at the end. That's the most important.
Robinson and Halbert, then Vanderkoy, the 92 of Price in the hunt, and Breyer Bauman has some serious work to do back in 7th.
Yeah, Breyer is kind of flicking it sideways coming into the corner. I don't know if that's necessarily the way you want to ride right now, just the way the track has started to you know, get a little bit slicker, and when you're busting the bike sideways like that, you're heating up the tire, and tire wear could become a factor here at the end of the race.
It's going to be a tough call for Bauman because in 7th he needs to make some quick passes. But yeah, he could use up the motorcycle while he does it. Look at this pack. Oh, Price almost threw it away on the exit of turn 4.
Just in that one corner, look at the gap that Jared Mees was able to bust out. He already had a couple bike lengths, but there in 3 and 4, he really made up a bunch of time.
Indian Motorcycle on board with Bauman. This is pressure being applied by J.D. Beach, who led early in our main event yesterday on the Estenson Yamaha. They keep working to get the Yamaha to be a front runner on miles, and look, he wanted to make a move.
Yeah, looking better. It just needs to get a little bit better coming off the corner. Seems to be where they're struggling the most.
And this battle continues, but they're further and further behind Mees as each lap goes by.
Yeah, if Jared has already really broken the draft, I think he's out far enough where Sammy can't get a hint of the draft, so he's really going to have to get faster in the corners to be able to track him back down. But you don't want to push too hard because that can get you into a mistake.
This is shocking, actually, how quickly Mees is getting away, and everybody else. This is more traditional Springfield Mile. Big battle. Halbert, Robinson, Vanderkoy, Price, Carver down to the inside of the 23.
Yeah, these guys really have to work together. If they start fighting back and forth and slowing each other up in the corners, that's going to be the worst thing they want to do because that's going to let Jared get further and further away.
And that's exactly what happens as they keep battling. Now Halbert has taken second from Robinson.
See, look at both Jeffrey Carver and Breyer Bauman sliding all the way to the bottom, trying to just cut off real estate to make up time. It works coming in, but it definitely doesn't coming off. They lose a lot of their run.
They are both ahead of Vanderkoy now. So the number 1 of Bauman, does he have to start getting a little bit nervous here? You can make passes on this track for sure, but he wants more than top 5.
Definitely, and you can't get nervous because as soon as you start riding too hard, that's going to be when you're going to make more mistakes. Try to get the bike sideways, and right now you got to be, very even here with that mission on board. That's such a great shot.
Okay, so let's see if Bauman can stay cool as he tries to methodically work his way forward. We're not seeing a ton of back and forth 3 or 4 rider draft passes. They've just basically been in line here.
Yeah, you say methodically, and they're doing that all at 135 miles per hour at the end of the straightaway. I mean, the lap speed doesn't get underneath 100 miles per hour. I mean, that means that these guys are maybe going as low as 90 miles per hour in the corners sideways, side by side.
Unbelievable, the trust that these riders have. Here's a pass going by Robinson, momentarily at least, is Halbert.
You can see Jared's bike up front there. You can just see that little bit of a wiggle to it. Usually when that bike gets that little wiggle shimmy, that just means the thing is so hooked up, not busting any traction and moving forward.
So Halbert in control of second on the 69, the Nyla Coolbeth racing machine. Just as I say that, Robinson, backed by Roof Systems of Dallas and Mission Foods, goes by for second again, and Brandon Price, Robinson's teammate, he's getting aggressive from 4th.
It looks like Breyer's calmed down now. He got himself in position with these guys. He just has to stay there for the end now.
At least would like to get to second, but that's not going to be easy. A 5-rider pack for the number 2 spot. Jared Mees, meanwhile, stamping his authority on Springfield. Springfield Mile, great battle, but it's for second. They are all over each other. Breyer Bauman has moved from 7th all the way to 3rd, and he just took second away from Sammy Halbert.
Yeah, now he's right where he wants to be. I mean, obviously Jared Mees, unless he has, some bad luck mechanical or something, I mean, he's way gone. You can't even see him there. He has to get second and just minimize the damage.
That is unbelievable, the lead that Mees has. Halbert not taking any gruff from Bauman. He goes right back by.
Yeah, there's not very often you see a breakaway like this. I think Scotty Parker and Ricky Graham have done it before, but yeah, it's not very often to get a breakaway like this.
Hey, Davis Fisher, where did he come from? He's in this group right at the back of it, looking to make moves.
Yeah, he's into it now. I mean, that's not what Breyer wants. One more rider in the mix is a possible another way that he can go backwards, but look at this replay here. You can see Brandon Robinson just getting in such a bad head shake. I mean, that'll wear you out after 25-plus laps.
What is the cause of that head shake?
It could be, a little bit of bike setup or rider position. Brandon is the tallest rider out there, and when your head's up in the wind, sometimes that will disrupt the bike as well.
Wait a minute. Red flag here, Brad.
Uh-oh. Oh, look at this. It's Pat Buchanan. He's 49 years old. He turns 50 this year. Still out here doing. He's Ironmaning it this weekend, too. He's riding both the production twins and the super twins. Looks like maybe he just had a little bit of a low slide coming off of turn 2 there. Yep.
There it is.
Wow, look at Robbie Pearson. Man, just threads the needle. That could have been bad.
Good to see Buchanan's okay.
Sliding on his back. Looks like an easy crash, but more hard on the motorcycle.
We'd rather that be the case. Well, here's the big deal. Jared Mees had that gigantic lead, and it's gone now. It's going to be a shootout. Halbert, Bauman, Carver, Robinson. Can they catch him? Great jump for Robinson on the outside, and Bauman as well.
Yeah, Bauman, great jump around the outside. Now what these guys got to do, look at him, cuts to the bottom, takes over the lead.
What a move. So Bauman taking full advantage of the restart. Mees has to be frustrated. He had put these guys away. He was gone, and now he has to take the lead back.
Yeah, if he can get the lead back, these guys really just got to pace Jared. He's going to be able to pick up right where he left off.
SNF's onboard shows you they are getting desperate, aggressive, whatever you want to call it. Halbert, Bauman, Mees.
Jared already has a couple bike links now. These guys have to pace him. If they don't, he's just going to get out of town again.
And he is starting to do that. That had to be a nervous moment as he lost the lead to Bauman temporarily, but now Mees reestablishing himself.
Sammy doing a great job getting right back up on his rear tire. He has to stay there. I think his best bet is just to try to pace him to the end and be there at the line.
Sammy has stayed with him. He's not letting Mees pull the breakaway. Is that Carver hanging out in fourth?
Yeah, Carver, the fan favorite here in Illinois. Be awesome to see him get on the podium, but that's not what Breyer wants. Breyer has to get on the podium at worst.
Yeah, this could shove some more riders between himself and Bauman. Carver is no slouch. He has won at this track before. He's a wild card entry, has not raced all year, but he would not miss Springfield, the biggest race of the year, the closest to his hometown, and Carver is a factor. Look, he's passing Bauman.
Well, these guys are doing a really good job at pacing Jared right now. I mean, they're not able to get by him, but they're at least able to stay with him.
Carver wasn't able to complete the move. He got halfway there. And Bauman drawing back up to the lead duo. Oh, Bronson Bauman problems.
Yeah, been a bad year of mechanicals for Bronson. Look at this pass, possibly up the inside for Sammy. He does.
Game changer. So Mees had the giant lead, the restart. He's having to fight for it, and he does.
He not able to hold on to it, though. He slips off the groove just a little bit. Jared right back to the lead.
Mees is going to have to battle. It looked like it was going to be an easy one. Halbert, he'll throw everything he has at this to try to win Springfield. And you know Bauman's situation, he wants the points. So these are motivated riders. Clock's expired. Going to be 2 to go.
Yeah, Jared is so hooked up today. The Wollens Racing suspension has that thing dialed. He has a couple bike link lead now. I don't know if these guys are going to be quite close enough. Look at Carver all the way to the bottom. Wow. Breyer just had to thread the needle and get back underneath him there.
It looked good at first, but he slid too high, too low on the entry. Robinson, Bauman, they're all able to get by Carver. And Mees is getting away.
Yeah, Mees, I believe, is gone now. He gets enough gap where these guys don't have the draft, and he's just so hooked up in the corners.
So it could be down to this. Who's going to get the podium spots? 4 riders fighting for 2 of them. White flag out for Jared Mees, looking for the clean sweep of the weekend.
Let's see what Carver's going to do again. See if he drops to the bottom. He does. Slides back underneath these guys.
I think he held it a little better this time.
But Breyer squares him up again. He's close, though. You know, Breyer's going to have to really hold on here in the last corner. See what Carver goes to do.
Mees has this one in control. Carver to the inside on Bauman. Bauman showing a wheel to Halbert. They cross each other up.
Not quite enough to get by. Let's see if Breyer's able to hold on to this spot here. Maybe get by Halbert at the line.
All right, checkered flag is out. Jared Mees wins them both here at Springfield to the line. And I think it's Halbert with second. I can't even tell.
I don't think it was quite enough for Breyer to get there at the line. There's Nicole Mees and little Hayden, Jared's daughter and wife.
And they own this track on the track, and they're going to run this race in the years to come as the promoters as well. Certainly the Mees love Springfield. They feel even better now. At the line, it will be second to Halbert. Bauman, man, that's big for the series. So close, but he will end up third. Awesome run for Carver in a wild card entry for fifth. Almost got the podium right behind Robinson. Fisher was in that fight. Good to see. Smith will end up 12th here in his last run at Springfield. The Jammer wins today.
Jared Mees making a statement. Before the red flag, you had broken the draft, and then again after the red flag, you were able to break the draft and gain a sizable lead over the rest of the field. But again, you kept pushing, and I'm curious, what statement were you trying to make, and is this your bid for the championship?
Definitely. I mean, after the chatter that Breyer had up on the podium last night, I just figured today I'd drop the hammer and really put some distance on him to where I could do whatever I wanted out there. So right before the main event, we made a few small changes that ended up just being a huge difference. And that's why I got the best team out there. Kenny Tolbert, Bubba Bentley, Jimmy Wood with the Olin suspension. We got the thing hooked up better, running faster, just smoothed out. It was an incredible weekend for me, but I knew coming in here that I had to do this weekend to feel like I could get back up in there. And, we got some good tracks ahead of us still and 3 races to go. Anything can happen. The big, long list that makes this team, click week in and week out. And without them, we wouldn't be where we would be.
More experience both with rider and crew. His mission, win all the miles and get this championship back in sight. He's won 2 of the 4 of this stretch. Jared Mees on top in American Flat Track. Progressive American Flat Track is brought to you by Indian Motorcycle, official partner of AFT. Memphis Shades, the official windshield of Progressive American Flat Track. And Mission Foods has you covered with race day recipes that are too fast, too tasty. It is all over here, the Memphis Shades Springfield Mile II. What a fantastic battle for second. Sammy Halbert comes out on top.
A big rebound for Sammy Halbert here at the Springfield Mile. Sammy, to be able to round out the weekend on the podium is huge for you and this team. But what prevented you from being able to be up there racing with Jared?
I think he was, obviously really strong today, maybe a little more hooked up. But it was a fun race. On that restart, I was able to latch onto him and kind of purposely didn't pass him for a while there. Just tried to stay right in tow and hopefully break away from the rest of the guys. And then I looked back, it looked like they were still there. And so I took a shot at him into one, but I just slipped the groove when I did that and kind of blew it. But still a fun race. So fun racing the Springfield Mile here. Man, it's so fun working with Kenny Colbeth, and we just got a solid crew going, and looking forward to keeping these finishes going and ending the season on a high note.
Here are your point standings. Jared Mees has cut the deficit in half here at Springfield.
Yeah, look at that. Just in 2 races, and with Breyer even on the podium, he was able to cut it in half. 12 points going into Sacramento. Breyer's going to have to be on point when we get there.
Okay, so Bauman cannot be happy about this.
Breyer, in those final laps, Jeffrey Carver and you both battling for position, battling for podium position. At one point, it looked as though his tire might have touched your rear tire. Take me through what that was like for you, and did you feel that?
Yeah, going into 3 the last lap, I just saw the 23 come up the inside. I'm like, I'm glued on Sammy, so if he gets between us, then we're in a bad spot because he was really, really close. But it was cool to have that last lap into the last corner rather than down the straightaway and stuff. So hats off to Tolbert, Mees, dude. They were so fast all day today. They checked out. They rode so good, and we didn't even get a chance to race with them. So on to Sacramento.
Next race in that class will be Sacramento, but we have short track singles class coverage coming your way From right here at Springfield, September 19th at 9 p.m. on NBCSN. Dallas Daniels making more history, sweeping the weekend, winning everything he raced, both in singles and production twins. And Jared Mees, 2 for 2, sweeping the weekend in the Mission Super Twins class. For Brad Baker and Kristen Beat, I'm Jason Wygant. Congrats to Jared Mees.